Here's what we want to do for at least the next hour. It's a concept that we had today.
Which shows level of confidence that we can do it.
We'll do it for the whole show. I mean, we'll catch fire.
It'll catch fire.
An hour I'll be happy with if we can do this for an hour. Andy and I were having bacon and eggs and a sweet potato salad, respectively, today. Just having a bit of a chat and went, what if we did the whole show the same way that you have a conversation at the pub? Story monkey barring, essentially, is what it is. Here's how it's going to work. Ando, you're going to start us off.
I've got a great story.
You've got the first story.
I'm really happy, and I've been holding on to this story all day because I said to you, I've got a great story.
Whatever that story is, we'll pick 3 themes that are in that story. I then have to monkey bar off one of those 3 themes to tell my story.
Well, my story hopefully reminds you of another story.
That's why we've called this segment...
That reminds me of a story.
Effectively, the show is called That Reminds Me of a Story. Not as a segment.
That is all we're doing today. We're not having any guests on. We're not playing any funny songs. We don't have any sketches. There's no other phone topics. It's so exciting, Andy. We were talking about breaking all the rules before. To just pick this theme and run with it. What am I holding?
You're holding a plate from the kitchen here that has the rules written on it.
What am I going to do?
Cover your eyes, Ham. Cover your eyes. He's broken the rules. We're breaking the rules right now, everybody.
It's cut my hand, actually. I've cut myself on some cheap porcelain.
The lesson is...
The rules are now broken. So if you freak out and go, that's not the way the radio should sound, consult the rules. Good luck, because they're in 9 pieces.
Get your Araldite out. It's going to take you some time anyway to put it together. The rules have been officially broken.
Yeah, and just a small hazard on my side of the desk, there are shards of porcelain here. They're stuck in my hand.
Hey, anyway.
Yeah, what's your story?
Well, first of all...
Story number 1.
This is the first story. Okay, this is hopefully going to kick off the next 2 hours of just amazing stories.
Just great story monkey barring.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface of my story, even though it's a good one.
The thing is, let's all remember this story and see at the end of the show where we ended up.
Here's my story. A friend of mine went round to his grand's house, and 5 years ago, he gave her a DVD player.
Very generous.
Right, and she's been loving it.
Good.
You know, some grands go, no, I don't want technology.
Some of them go, yeah, great. It's a mug holder.
She was such a fan of movies. She went, well, this is great. This is really going to enhance my movie experience. So he's gone round there. This is 5 years ago he gave the DVD player. Last Wednesday, he went round there, so a week ago. And she just finished up watching Braveheart. Right?
Excellent.
Yeah, good choice.
Saucy themes. She's old enough. She understands it.
Exactly. Anyway, it was the credits were just about...
So isn't it funny that you think that there are some films that you think are too adult for old people? Of course they know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So she got to... He watched the last 5 minutes with her or so, and the credits rolled, and he was like, oh, well, it's great to see that Grant's still getting a lot of work out of this. And then she went, well, I've got to get it back to the DVD store. She pressed rewind on her DVD, and it started scrolling back.
Oh, so she's rewinding the DVD.
He's like, what are you doing, Grant? She said, I'm just rewinding it before I take it back.
Don't want to send back an unrewound DVD.
It's scrolling back. He goes, you don't need to do that. She goes, yeah, they get upset with you. Upset with you if you don't take it back. Rewound. He goes, but that's the new... I'm sorry, I should have told you this about DVDs. You don't need to do that.
Rewinding a record, man.
You don't need to do that. And she said, really? And he just thought, for 5 years...
She's been rewinding back.
He watches one film a day.
I love it.
And sits and watches it rewind once a day for 5 years.
Because you can't rewind it with... You know how on VCRs you could stop and rewind? Yeah. She must have been so annoyed going, oh, you can't even stop and rewind. You have to rewind it the slow way.
Than VCR.
All right, great story.
Thank you.
Now, that's kicked us off for That Reminds Me of a Story. Here's the next bit. So we pick 3 themes.
Well, old people and technology would be
old people and technology.
Video
stores. Video stores and Braveheart.
Okay, there's the 3 themes.
They're the 3 themes.
Does that remind you of a story, Ham?
Okay, so what have we got? Old people and technology, video stores, Braveheart. Yes. Well, I worked at a video store, so I would like to pick video stores.
You have a good story, though.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That reminds me of a story.
Are you gonna tell your story now?
Yeah.
Story number 2.
All right, now listen out to this story, everyone, because from this story, we'll pick 3 themes, and then it's over to you guys on 131060 for the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at a video store, Ando, and it was my job to rewind a lot of them back when they were VHSs. I had to rewind a lot of them when they got sent in. Yeah. Even though technically I worked with an inferior or a subordinate, I was 17, he was 14. Yeah. Because he was the boss's son, he didn't have to do anything. So while I was rewinding movies, he was always, as chance would have it, cleaning video covers, because we had to do a lot of cleaning back in we didn't get a lot of customers, so they were quite dusty. Always in the adult section, looking at the back of the adult movies where there was just a cheeky shot of a boob here or there.
Well, I did
permanently there.
Well, that's what you did as a kid. You would go.
He's on the clock.
He's on the.
And I'm the one just rewinding all the videos while Angus sits around the corner, working up a sweat, looking at the adult films.
Good story.
Not a bad one. Well, yeah, that's it. That was just one of my less fond memories of the video store.
Well, hopefully that's about to remind people of a story on 131060.
What themes do we have?
Well, sneaking a look at adult, the adult-themed...
Teenagers copying a look at adult photos.
Yep.
That's one theme?
Yep, that's a great theme.
Working with the boss's son.
Great theme.
That's another theme.
What outfit did you wear back in the day?
The uniform was an embroidered chambray shirt. Didn't have my name on it, but it had the video store logo on it. Chambray shirts. Do you want that to be a theme?
Can chambray shirts be a theme?
I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. You know, like a light denim. Chambray shirts. So we've got sneaking a look at adult pictures when you're a teenager.
Has that reminded you of a story that you're trying to do that?
Does that remind you of a story, anyone? Yeah. Chambray shirts and working with the boss's son.
131060. Any good stories there? Yeah. Give us a call in. Does it remind you of a story?
Hamish and Andy.
That reminds me of a story.
Hamish and Andy driving you home, and we're excited because we are doing That Reminds Me of a Story.
We've thrown the rest of the show out the window.
Yeah. The rules have been shattered.
If you're looking for the rules, I'll save you the embarrassment. They're not here anymore. They've been broken.
Hey, the idea of today is I started with a story.
Yep.
And similar to at the pub.
Yep.
And you just listen to someone's story, and whatever it reminds you of, someone tells another story.
We're up to story number 3.
Yes.
Now, from my story number 2, 3 possible themes presented in that were working with the boss's son, sneaking a peek at adult pictures when you're a teenager, and chambray shirts.
Brooke on 131060. Brooke.
What theme have you gone for?
Hang on.
Oh.
This is exciting because Brooke, welcome to the show, and welcome to That Reminds Me of a Story.
Thank you.
And Brooke, she's about to give us story number 3, isn't she?
Yeah, sneaking a peek.
Oh, she's gone with
sneaking a peek.
Story number 3.
Brooke, we're all ears.
Take it away.
So when we were kids, there was my brother and I and 2 other male friends.
Yep.
We used to go around to the male friend's house, put on some adult films, and then stand outside at the lounge room window watching it.
Hang on. Why are you outside the lounge room window watching it?
So that if the mum that was usually the mum, if the mum came in the room, we could quickly run away, and she would wonder why this porno was playing.
But Brooke, you miss out on all the excellent dialogue.
But I can still remember vividly the last one that we watched.
Whoa!
Is it safe for a family show?
Women were involved.
Oh, well, Brooke, you don't have to go into it. That's fine. We understand what happens in those type of films. But, Brooke,
so far no shocks that women were involved.
But tell me, Brooke, how many times can you get away with this before your friend's mum comes in and goes, why is there always, adult films playing in the middle of the day on VCR with no one in the room?
I have no idea, but we never got busted.
Really?
Yeah, and we were only 8 or 9.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. I went through the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was just general confusing watching the things, but I knew it was naughty. I had no idea what was happening, but I knew it was naughty, and that was the excitement for sure.
Exactly.
It gave me a false sense. I think I saw my first adult film when I was about 16. It gave me a very false sense of how easy it might be to pick up women. It just involved a guy going up to a girl that was roller skating, and then they were in love very quickly. Ando, what themes have we got?
I would say pulling the wool over your parents' eyes.
Yeah. What about this? Quick escapes.
quicker. Yeah.
See, they've set up for a quick escape.
Yeah. What have you set up for a quick escape?
Quick escapes has to be in there because, I mean, they just come in, boom, you're gone. No one's any the wiser.
And pulling the wool over your parents' eyes, how long did you get away with doing something your parents didn't know
Uncaught.
about?
Ideally, were you uncaught?
Yeah. Did you go uncaught?
Did you go on? All right, there are two themes.
Yeah.
Did you go uncaught pulling the wool over your parents' eyes or quick escapes?
Bert, how you going?
Very well, lads. I hope you're well today too.
Well, we're excited, Bert, because the rules have been thrown firmly out the window and smashed on a desk, so there's no way the rules can apply to this show. Are you enjoying That Reminds Me of a Story, Bert? Are you caught up in the excitement?
I am, and speaking of smashing, that's where my story starts.
Well, which theme are you going?
Sorry, yes, it was pulling the wool over the parents' eyes.
Well, before you go into it, Bert.
Story number 4.
Story number 4. Go for it, Bert.
Here we go.
We had toy library at school, and I one night borrowed indoor lawn bowls, which when I got home and Mum and Dad were out, me and my brother were playing, it got fairly, lively, the game of indoor lawn bowls, to the point where one went through a window.
Yep.
We panicked. Mum wasn't home yet, but I'd read enough books by that stage to know that you had to get the glass from outside the window and put it inside if you wanted to make your parents think that it was going to be a rock coming through the window the other way.
Yeah, very good.
So I did that, and I worded my brother up so that he'd stay staunch. Now, unbeknownst to me, Mum and Dad were a bit smarter than I thought, and they obviously looked at the rock that I'd also brought in from outside and put inside, and thought, how the hell did that get there? Because it would have been like JFK's magic bullet. It had to come over the fence, through a banister, under a chair, and still have enough force to smash the window. So they called the police anyway. So things were starting to get a bit frightening for 9-year-olds, but we stayed staunch. The police took the reports, walked away, and hopefully Mum and Dad don't listen to this show, and I still remain undetected.
Oh, Bert, outstanding work. Well, I mean, so many themes from story number 4, Ando, to Monkey Bar into our next story.
So many good ones. I've got a couple of ideas. What do you want to think, Hank?
I think we have to go. Did you try to fake a crime scene?
Yes, absolutely. Did you try and fake a crime scene? And then something completely different, Ham. Any story lawn bowls related?
Just give us a lawn bowl story.
I would love a lawn bowl story.
Lawn bowl scandal, lawn bowls mischief.
Yes.
Did you win bronze at the Commonwealth Games in lawn bowls?
Thank you very much,
Have more than that.
Hamish and Andy.
That reminds me of a story.
That is what we're doing for the whole show, Ando.
Yeah.
We're up to story number 5.
Yeah, up to story number 5. The rule book has been thrown out.
Yeah.
Shredded.
We're not just taking calls on one thing. Taking calls on anything under the sun. Here's how it works. Anytime someone tells us a story, we pick the 2 major themes from that story. We then will accept any stories relating to those 2 major themes. The previous story we had, the 2 themes we picked were, have you faked a crime scene?
Yes.
And anything to do with lawn bowls are our categories we are now accepting calls on.
Absolutely. That was after Bert's story. Rod joins us on 131060. How are you, Rod?
Mate, I'm great. How you doing?
Very good, Rod. Are you caught up in the excitement of That Reminds Me of a Story?
Oh, mate, well, that and lawn bowls. How can I contain myself?
I know. It's a great category. We could do a whole show just on lawn bowl stories.
So you've elected for lawn bowls over the theme. Did you fake a crime scene after Bert's story?
I'm trying to keep that quiet, the crime scene one.
We did understand there'd be legal ramifications with that. Well, Rod,
before you jump into it,
story number 5.
You are the 5th in our chain of stories. Take it away, Rod.
It's not much of a story. I'm only going to chew up a couple of minutes. Sorry, fellas. But
We'll accept it, Rod.
A little town down in the snowy mountains called Jindabyne, and, mate, they're all a really close crew. They all know each other from primary school, and they're all bloody 80. I used to play lawn bowls against this guy, McGuffick, and, mate, his belt it was too big, and his bum crack was always showing. So we used to get Keno pencils, like javelins, and see how far away we could get them down there. well, one day, his nephew flicked a match down there, and he thought it was a pencil, and it wasn't, and, well, it burnt a fair bit. And
Really? So this guy knew you were playing the game?
Oh, he loved it, mate.
He loved it. So what was the record? I mean, did anyone get a
About
measurement?
4 metres.
4 metres?
I know, it was awesome.
Someone got a pencil in from 4 metres away.
Yeah. It took a bit of practice. We used to chuck them like javelins, but the 4-metre one was more like a throwing knife.
Yeah, okay. Steven Seagal would have been impressed.
Yeah.
Rod, terrific story.
Great story, Rod.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The 2 themes, Ham, for here. I mean, what are you thinking around?
We've got, the match going in the crack. do we have...
I think games you've invented to pass the
Games
time.
you've invented, terrific.
Yeah, games you've invented to pass
I mean, do we
the time.
focus on Too Much Bum Crack? Is Too Much Bum Crack a theme in a bum crack showing its head where it shouldn't?
Yeah.
Or do we move away from that?
No,
and we
do
focus
not. We certainly
Games you've
do.
invented too much crack.
Yes. Does that remind you of a story, everybody?
I don't know. 131060 if it does. Now, technically, on the sixth story, we should have ended up at Kevin Bacon. Somehow, that hasn't happened. We are now at bum cracks. Well, the two options were Too Much Bum Crack or Games You've Invented.
Yeah, Emma on 131060 joins us. Games you've invented or Too Much Bum Crack today?
Hi, guys. Well, it's Too Much Bum Crack.
Okay.
It does sound like a perverted version of Jeopardy here, doesn't it? I'll take Too Much Bum Crack for $500. Thank you.
All right, Emma, I think your story number 6.
Story number 6.
Take it away.
Okay, well, my fiancé, as long as I've known him, he always bends over and he's always got his ass crack out.
Oh, he'd be good friends with Hamish.
Yeah.
I must have seen him at meetings. Carry on.
And one night we were getting tattoos done at a friend's house, and he got a bit drunk and decided that he would tattoo a smiley face just above his ass crack. So when he bends over, he's always smiling.
So are we talking, I mean, does the crack itself continue the tattoo? Or
No, it's just above it, but it's because they were drunk, it's kind of off-centered and not so round and perfect. It's all squiggly. It looks like a 5-year-old drew it.
Emma, as his wife, how does this make you feel?
He thinks it's a joke. I look at it and just cringe because it's awful.
Sure.
Well, there's a couple of themes here, Ham, to keep us going.
I'm going to pick, for people that are just new to That Reminds Me of a Story, we've been doing it since the start of the show. The idea is to pick 2 themes from every story. We think 2 is a good amount of themes. How about this, Ando? I think... Do you absolutely hate your partner's tattoo?
Yes, it's a great
Have they
one.
ruined their body in your eyes?
Yep.
And then would we go, since they're getting tattoos at their friend's house, would we go irregular activities at your friend's house? Did you do something a bit irregular?
Did you do something, or
I mean, that's not the normal... I mean, you've never got a tat at my house.
No, I haven't.
And I'd happily do one.
Yeah, well, I'll consider
Because I've got
it.
ink, and I keep telling you, you've got to get some, mate, because it is an exciting life.
We can absolutely do that, Ham. But I was also thinking, not just tattoos, maybe another theme is, has your partner done something to completely put you off him?
Yeah.
Has your partner done something to completely put you off him? Might be buying the wrong car, haircuts, fashion, wrong job, anything.
That's why I'm a big believer in, if you're single, get fat, get a beard, just get as bad as you can. Because if you find someone in that state, you're home free.
1310. What about that, Ham?
Yep.
Has your partner done something to absolutely put you off them?
Good. And then would we go irregular activities at your friend's house?
Both of those.
What are your friends getting up to?
They're the 2 themes, everybody.
This is Hamish and Andy.
That reminds me of a story.
Hamish and Andy driving you home and home. Today we are playing, I suppose, sort of game, which it involves people finding a theme from the previous story and just monkey bar it, like it would be at a pub.
Yeah.
I started with a story about a gran that rewinds DVDs.
That has led us through 6 different stories, all high-quality stories.
Yeah.
I think, and all could have stood alone as a cheap audiobook, but you could sell them. You could sell these stories. We are now at a point where we've got 2 themes from our last story.
Yeah.
The 2 themes were, what has your partner done?
Yeah, to put you off. Well, what does your partner do that absolutely puts you off?
The other theme being odd activities at your friend's house.
They're the 2 themes.
Are up to Jody. What theme have you chosen to go with, Jody?
What my partner does to put me right off.
Rightio.
Fair
And
enough.
I hope he's listening to this.
Well, do you want to say his full name, Jody?
Tony King.
Tony King. Attention, Tony King.
Jody King, let's find out what story number... Before you jump in, Jody, let's find out what story number we're up to.
Story number 7.
Take it away, Jody.
Well, this is very strange, and I hope you're listening, Tony. Ever since he was a child, he's been collecting his baby teeth in a plastic vial. And
And I keep finding them around the house and confronting him about it. And then they just move spots. He promises to get rid of them, but he just can't part with them.
Hang on, what do you mean you keep finding them in the house? That implies that he takes them out and has a play with them.
I think he must play jacks or something. I don't know.
Because he's not. It's not like it's just like, oh, mate, that's still in the wardrobe. Can you get rid of those? Yeah. If you keep finding him, it means he's hearing your car come into the driveway and trying to scoop him up as fast as he can and put them back where they belong.
And another thing, one of my daughters smashed a rock on my other one's finger, and her nail went black. Yeah. And it's just fallen off. And my husband put it in the jar for the nail fairy.
There's no such thing, Tony King. Tony.
This is
Tooth fairy real, nail fairy weird.
I'm scared that I'm going to find his foreskin pickled in a jar somewhere.
We all are, Jodie. We all are.
All right, Jodie, here are my two themes from this. To keep us going on, does that remind you of a story? Have you kept a bodily item? Have you kept a body part?
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Like Tony has. Can I throw this out as a theme that might, this could open us wide open for the next story. Weird Tonys. Do you know a weird Tony? Those are the two themes.
Have you kept a body part? Do you know a weird Tony? What makes him weird? Does that remind you of a story? Terry's about to join us. Hey, Terry, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
The two themes are, have you kept a bodily part, or weird, do you know a weird Tony? What theme have you gone for, Terry?
Mate, I know a weird Tony.
Oh, well, before you jump into it.
Story number 8.
Terry, take it away. What's your weird Tony do?
Weird Tony, he stands about 6.5 foot tall and he weighs about 70 kilos, so just to look at him is weird enough.
He's a thin Tony.
He's a very thin Tony. Well, that is extraordinary. 6.5 feet, and 70 kilos. Cackling Jack, turn your microphone on. How much
describes me pretty well.
How much do you weigh, Cackling
Like
Jack?
about 70, 75 kilos.
And how tall are you?
I don't know, maybe a bit shorter than that, 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, but you're a beanpole, so we kind of can get a good idea.
So he's worse than Jack, so he's very thin.
And what else, Terry, that makes your Tony weird?
He walks around and after every sentence he finishes it with no worries. It wouldn't matter what it was. He could quite literally kill someone and he'd walk away and go, no worries. It's just so strange.
So does he say it, even if it's out of context, does he say no worries?
Yeah, to finish anything off. He can get in trouble with something at work and he'll finish the sentence, but no worries.
That is bizarre. I find tall people, like that kind of tall, beanpole tall, a little untrustworthy, but I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, like I just find that body make and shape.
You find them a bit shifty.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that one of the things?
It could be.
What type of person do you find a bit untrustworthy?
Yeah. What type looking person do you find a bit untrustworthy? And I know that's horrific. You should never judge a book by its cover.
Well, you can't help it, can you? You're tallest.
Yeah, exactly.
What about this as another theme? Verbal crutches. Or verbal tics. People that... We had a teacher at our high school that would say for it all the time for no reason. Would literally finish a sentence by going, anyway, so, lunch is at 1. For it? It's like she had a parrot stuck in her mouth that only knew one phrase and would always just jump out at the end.
Hamish and Andy.
That reminds me of a story.
Hamish and Andy driving you home and home. Today, that reminds me of a story. How many stories can we monkey bar onto?
The last story was about a weird Tony. That was one of the themes from a previous story. From that, we went with, what kind of looking person do you not trust? We know it's wrong to judge a book by its cover, but men with beards, do they put you off? Why? Could we explore that? Or verbal crutches. Do you say something at the end of a sentence or whatever?
For some reason, Terry, who called in, His
weird Tony did it.
His weird Tony said, no worries.
No matter what the situation was.
No matter what the situation, his weird Tony said, no worries, which was quite interesting. Joining us now is Ellie, I believe, on 131060. Ellie, what topic have you gone for?
Someone with a moustache a ponytail I didn't trust.
Okay. Oh, hold on 1 second. So you've gone for what sort of looking people don't you trust? Cackling Jack, what story are we up to?
Story number 9.
Story number 9.
Ninth story in That Reminds Me of a Story. Take it away, Ellie.
Well, I had a massage last year after a fun run.
Yeah.
And the guy who massaged my legs had a ponytail.
Mm-hmm.
And from the moment I saw him, I thought, yes, he's a bit of a creepy guy.
Is this a theme we should be saying to guys? Ponytails?
Yes.
I mean, were ponytails ever in?
I don't think they ever were in.
Very briefly in the 1700s, ponytails were in for a moment.
Particularly when they're dyed hair. They've got dyed hair.
Yeah, if you've got dyed hair and a ponytail. And so, Ellie, would you sooner have not been massaged?
Yes. Well, my father was quite concerned, I've got to say.
When you got issued this guy to massage you?
Yes. He got the camera out.
Yeah.
And, boy, the picture we've got of him, he looks so sus. Convicted pedophile alert.
Oh, hang on, Ellie. Did he do anything wrong, or does he just look sus?
No, he did not do anything wrong.
But this is the thing. For bad news for this bloke. Because he's giving out the wrong vibes. He's giving out the wrong message. He's a great masseuse. He's a great
masseuse, and I'm not bagging his masseuse qualities.
But unfortunately, he came across
as extremely creepy to the point where your dad took evidence photos.
Well, I like it, Ellie. Let's the two themes, Ham. First of all, fun runs.
Fun runs.
They're
not fun.
What was your least fun run?
Good.
How's that?
No fun runs.
A non-fun run.
Good.
Have you been involved, 13, 10, 60, have you been involved in a non-fun run?
What about this as well?
Okay.
Does your dad take pictures of things for evidence?
Craig joins us on 13, 10, 60. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks, boys. How are you?
Very good,
Very
Craig.
excited. Let's just get a story number check if we could.
Story number 10.
Wow. Deco story. Desi story. Well, the two themes you had to pick from the previous story that Ellie told were non-fun runs and does your dad take pictures for evidence?
What have you gone with, Craig?
Mate, gone with a non-fun run.
Okay, take it away for story number 10.
Mate, I was living in Dubai a few years back, and mate and I decided we'd go in the 10K fun run on the day of the Dubai Marathon.
Good fun.
So we prepared thoroughly, gutfuls of red wine and beer the night before. And it's a 6 o'clock start, so we drink through till about 3.
Yeah.
And knew we had to prepare well, so we've guzzled loads and loads of water, knowing there's no drink stops on the 10Ks. Failed to realise there's no toilet stops either. So what we've actually done in the sort of the coolness of the morning, we decided we'd put our safari suits on and run in our safari suits, one in a leopard skin and me in the Frisian cow.
Good. Just another couple of Aussies overseas representing the country, doing it proud for the expats. So did you run as a cow, Craig?
I ran as the cow, yeah.
So far, no good decision.
No. And we're talking velour material with some satin lapels, short sleeves. So we had to basically relieve ourselves along the 10Ks. The fact there's no toilets or stops along the way. Well, and got to the end of the 10Ks.
Sorry, Craig. So you couldn't just run over to the side and have a cheeky wee?
Because there's very strict laws about that in Dubai.
Well, there's men with machine guns.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So you've just wet yourself as a cow.
I just wet the cow, basically, yeah.
The old leaky udder. All right.
Yeah, so anyway, all good. Finished sub 1 hour, and about a month later, my mate ran off with my wife.
Oh, that's no fun.
That is no fun at all.
It wasn't much fun for the cow either.
Look, here's the cow standing there. I mean, by that stage, you're obviously out of the cow suit, but I mean, in the space of a month, you've wet yourself as a cow, and you've had your best mate nick your wife.
Well, here's the themes here's one that's really yelling at me, Ham.
Go for it.
Worst mate ever.
Terrible mate. Terrible mate.
10, 60. What's the worst mate you've ever had? What have they done?
Yep. Here's my one. What's happened to you dressed as a cow?
No, that's too specific.
Could be great. Could we get a great story out of that?
I don't think we can go with that.
I challenge, please, everyone, come to my rescue. Show Andy that there are some great stories out there. What's happened to you dressed as a cow?
Okay, 2 themes. Worst mate ever.
Yep.
It's the worst friend. And what's happened to you dressed as a cow. The 2 themes.
Horrible. Unacceptable.
Any bovine.
Any bovine. I'll take it.
What's happened to you dressed as a cow?
As we go into story number 11 in That Reminds Me of a Story.
Hamish and Andy.
Today, we are doing That Reminds Me of a Story. We had started with myself saying a story, Ham.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock.
An hour and a half ago. And just from there, piggy-backing stories, just picking small themes as we go along for every story, and then completely different tales are being told as we go along. We're up to Ruth and Haim. This is pretty exciting because the 2 themes were worst mate ever or
the controversial
what's happened to you dressed as a cow or a bull.
Andy, you didn't think we'd get any phone calls for that, Ruth. What is your story about?
Hey, boys. Love your show.
Yeah. Love you back, Ruth, if you say the word cow.
Definitely the cow.
Oh! I knew we'd get a cow story.
Oh, this is disappointing.
I knew something would have happened to someone dressed as a cow.
Well, all right, let's get a story check from Cackling Jack over there pressing the buttons for us.
Story number 11.
Ruth, it's good. All yours.
Okay, well, I was the starring role in this song in the production of Jack and the Beanstalk back in school days.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And most of the nights I was the back of the cow, but one night one of the girls was off sick, so I was promoted to be the front of the cow.
Yep. Yes.
And it was all very exciting. It was in the big song about Mozart the cow. And got a bit bored and couldn't see very well the front of the cow, so started moving, sort of make it look a bit more interesting, started moving forward and ended up in the orchestra pit.
Oh. Did both of you go, or did the front fall out of the cow?
Oh, it was messy. It was both of us.
Both. So the whole of Mozart fell into the orchestra, which has a certain sort of poetic license to it because Mozart did enjoy music, I assume.
Well, hey, I mean, that's a terrific story, Ruth.
That's a great story. And that happened to you dressed as a cow.
Haim, what are your themes here?
Well, I do love the pun-based name of Mozart, the cow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be happy to, as a theme, go primary school pun-based productions.
Or, yeah, okay, kind of primary school productions.
Yeah. What was the name of your primary school play? But I mean, we're specifically looking for things that had terrific plays on words in them.
Okay, and what brought your gig to a standstill? If you're a musician...
Yeah, showstoppers.
Showstoppers.
I mean, a cow falling in an orchestra pit is a good one.
Yeah. As an orchestral player, you're expecting the conductor to stop. You're not expecting a cow to make you stop.
You shouldn't have to wear a helmet in case Mozart falls on you.
As any type of musician...
Okay, so these are our 2 themes.
What's any type of musician? What's brought your gig to a standstill? And name of your primary school production.
With plays on words in it.
Yes, absolutely. Aaron, who joins us on 131060. Aaron, how are you going?
Good, thanks, boys. How are you?
Are you feeling the pressure a little bit at story number 12?
Yeah, I've got butterflies.
I mean, I don't know how much of the show you've been able to listen to, Aaron, but you've heard the quality of stories, haven't you?
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Aaron, there was 2 themes after last one. There was, what was the name of the primary school production that you were in? Was it one of the themes? Was it a pun, play on words, or did your gig get brought to a standstill because our last caller just talked of Dressed as a Cow?
Called Mozart.
Mozart ended up in the orchestra at her production. Aaron, what theme have you gone for?
The play brought to a standstill.
All
Fantastic.
right, Aaron, let's officiate this with the story number.
Story number 12.
Take it away.
Well, it was actually my little brother, and he gets really bad stage fright, and they're at a school gig, and he was playing the flute, and my mum tried to slowly and quietly whisper, "Chad, your fly's undone." And he looked down and... He looked down and saw his fly was undone and just dropped his flute and ran off the stage crying.
How old was he?
Oh, he would have been 13.
13?
14.
And it was enough to bring tears.
Complete standstill.
Well, did your mum think that she'd done the right thing still?
oh, well, she's just trying to help her little son out, but it's a bit loud, I think.
Fair enough. Okay, great story, Aaron.
That's a good story.
2 themes, Ham. What are you throwing around?
Could we do this for a theme? I mean, Aaron's called up there and embarrassed his little brother. Mm-hmm. Could we just go, would you like to embarrass your little brother on radio?
Or let's just do little. Would
just
you
like to embarrass a sibling?
Would you like to embarrass your brother?
May as well.
Yeah.
Throw it out there. I mean, is there a ripper of a story that you'd like to embarrass your sibling with?
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I suppose let's go with, do we want to go with mums?
Is something with the crying? Would we go regretful tears?
Yeah.
Where shouldn't you have cried?
Where shouldn't you?
Because he's going to be looking back at that and going, I could have handled that. I could have played that cooler.
I could have done that better. All right. So the 2 themes are regretful tears.
Yep.
What is the stupidest thing you've cried over?
Yep.
Publicly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And would you like to embarrass your brother?
Yeah. Because I cried over those chips when I was a kid.
Yeah, I know. You cried because you didn't finish.
Forgot to finish my Red Rooster chips.
Yeah,
and I was hysterical.
And you asked your dad to drive you back.
Yeah, at 5 in the morning. I mean, I regret that. I could have played that cooler because, I'm still trying to win over my dad's affection because he sees me as the kid that cried at 5 in the morning over the chips.
This is Hamish and Andy.
That reminds me of a story.
Hamish and Andy.
What a huge journey. And you know what? I'm so glad that everyone's come along for the ride with us. You know who I'm glad didn't come?
The rules?
The rules.
Yeah.
For the whole show, we have just tried to monkey bar from one story to another, and that reminds me of a story. Here we are, Ando, probably only 2 stories away from finishing it.
I reckon this would have to be the second last.
This would have to be our second last story of the show. Yeah. And we've had some real quality stories.
Disney have optioned 5 of them.
We said
already.
no way.
No way. Warner Brothers then called after them. We said
yeah. Actually, you just had something against Disney.
Ben joins us. Ben, how are you today?
Yes, good.
Are you limbered up? Are the vocal cords ready?
Yes, I've been humming and singing away.
Very good, Ben. Now, you're linking your story to Aaron's story. The 2 themes we picked were...
Yeah, what shouldn't you have cried at?
And would you like to embarrass your brother? That's a very broad theme. What have you gone for, Ben?
Okay, I've gone for not the brother, but the brother-in-law.
You'd like to embarrass your brother-in-law.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so...
Actually, we should do how many stories we're up to, because I don't even know.
Story 13.
Story 13 we're up to. Take it away.
All right, so I've got a bit of a juicy little bit of gossip that no one's heard before.
Good band.
So the band Hanson.
Yep.
It's probably not as popular as it used to be, but
that's fair to say.
That's very fair to say. The most popular song, Bop, yep. I dare say.
Yeah. So now I assume that all 3 were brothers.
Yep.
Correct.
Now, so my brother-in-law actually had a crush on the lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know it was a boy, it was a girl.
Thought that was Zach the lead or Taylor?
I think it was Taylor.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
But Taylor
I've heard of people mistaking Taylor Hanson for a girl.
So your brother-in-law, who's married to your sister,
mm-hmm.
once had posters of Taylor Hanson, a boy, idolised them, thought about them romantically, not knowing it was a boy.
That's correct.
Ben, what's his full name?
It is Brendan Parr.
Excellent work, Ben.
Terrific.
How old was he when he had a crush on Taylor Hanson?
Well, I don't know. He must have been a teenager. He had a crush on him for like 5 years.
5 years? If you haven't worked it out within 5 years, that is a worry.
Like he's just gone, I'm going to do no research on that chick. I'm just going to love her from afar. Unlucky that he/she had the name Taylor as well.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Ben.
All right, boys. Have a good one.
I reckon we've got it. I mean, after this will be our final story.
Yeah.
So we have to pick the themes wisely here.
We do. We now pick 2 themes, and from those 2 themes, you'll be able to call 131060 and give us the final story. And that reminds me of a story. We'll have come a long way.
First thing for me.
Yeah.
Have you been disappointed in your brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you disappointed?
Or are you disappointed with the person that your sister married or, that your daughter married?
Well, I think we can keep it at brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law?
Keep it
Okay.
at brother-in-law
Okay.
because you're going to your sister. Don't bring him into the family. Regret that you've done that.
Yeah, exactly. Did you want a better one?
Did you want a better brother-in-law?
What-
Because I'm excited when my sister gets married.
Yeah.
Because you got another brother. And
Yeah.
nothing against my current brother. He's terrific.
Yeah.
We're both excited. Great. We'll get another brother.
But if he brings in a dud...
She brings in a dud. We're going to go, so... You're our one chance for a new brother.
Second one.
Yep.
Did you love Hanson?
Do we go man, Hanson, love?
Man, Hanson, love?
How far did you go as a dude loving Hanson?
For people who haven't heard every story, we will quickly recap right now.
Story number 1, Ando.
I kicked it off. Grandma rewinding DVDs.
Story number 2.
It made you think, Ham, of a story where you worked at a video shop and your co-worker suspiciously always cleaned films in the adult section.
Story number 3.
Brooke used to also sneak adult films at a friend's house, but watch them from outside the house so she could run away.
Story number 4.
Bert staged a crime scene to hide all the lawn bowls incident from his parents' eyes.
Staying alive. Story number 5.
Rod threw pens into a bum crack from 4 metres away.
Radio Tricks. Story number 6.
Emma, husband got tattooed of a smiley face above her bottom.
Radio Heaven. Story number 7.
Jody called in adult called Tony who kept his baby teeth and played with them.
That was weird. Rules aren't great. Story number 8.
Terry rang in. He had a weird Tony as well. 6 foot and 60 kilograms.
Weird Tonys are fine. Story number 9.
Ellie, don't trust men. She doesn't trust men with long ponytails after a fun run she did.
Yeah, never again. Story number 10.
Craig ran in. He had a no fun run as well because his mate ran off with his wife at the end of it.
Already used the rhyme for 7. Story number 11.
This is Ruth. Dressed as a cow, she fell into an orchestra.
Ooh, you would have yelled. Story number 12.
Aaron, brother cried as he dropped his flute after noticing his fly was undone at a school recital.
What a journey it's been. Story number 13.
Ben Ham, his brother-in-law, had a crush on the lead singer of Taylor Hanson, not knowing that he wasn't a girl. In fact, Taylor Hanson was a boy, and now...
This is the final story.
The two themes from the Taylor Hanson crush debacle were: do you love Hanson as a man, and are you proud, or are you disappointed with your brother-in-law? Our final story will come from Claire. How you going, Claire?
Good, how are you?
Very good, and thank you for being the final story in today's show, which has been That Reminds Me of a Story.
My pleasure.
Claire, are you nervous?
I'm very, very nervous. It's a big, big thing being the last story.
It's a huge honour, isn't it? Now, what theme have you decided to go for?
Disappointed in my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Well, soon to be brother-in-law because he's my ex-boyfriend.
Really? Well, this is pretty exciting. We want to get the whole story. We have to officially mark it.
Story 14.
Talk us through it.
Okay, well, many, many years ago, before my sister started going out with this guy, we were at a party, we met up, we hooked up, and we were kind of going out for a little while, not very long, and then, we broke up a couple of years later. He's now engaged to my sister, and they have 2 children.
Oh, what disappointing.
Was it an awkward breakup between you two?
No, kind of mutual. It only lasted, days kind of thing, 'cause we were only teenagers at the time, and and
you'd prefer him not to be there, Claire.
It's kind of. We belong on the Jerry Springer show, so
it's a very good story to finish with. Claire, you've done it.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire, for being a part of it. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of That Reminds Me of a Story today, Ham.
We started with a story about your friend's grandma rewinding DVDs. We ended up with Claire having her ex-boyfriend as her brother-in-law.
Quite extraordinary, Ham.
12 degrees of separation. That's how we got there. 14 stories.